Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. History is full of conflicts. Some fought for land, power, or revenge. But sometimes wars start for reasons so bizarre that they sound like a joke. Today, we dive into the strangest reasons wars ever started. Trust me, some of these will leave you speechless. War number one, the War of the Stray Dog, 1925. Our first war begins in 1925, on the border of Greece and Bulgaria. Tensions between the two nations were already high when a Greek soldier's dog ran across the border. The soldier chased after his pet, but Bulgarian border guards shot him. In response, Greece declared war and invaded Bulgaria. Skirmishes broke out and troops mobilized quickly, escalating what should have been a minor diplomatic issue into a full-blown crisis. The League of Nations had to step in to calm the situation before it turned into a full-scale disaster, a war over a runaway dog. History is full of surprises. War number two, the War of Jenkins' Ear, 1739 to 1748. What if I told you a war once started because of an ear? In 1731, Spanish coast guards boarded a British ship and, as punishment for smuggling, cut off the ear of British Captain Robert Jenkins. Years later, in 1739, British politicians used this as an excuse to declare war on Spain, calling it the War of Jenkins' Ear. This war was part of a larger struggle for dominance in the Caribbean and North America. It lasted 9 years, involved massive naval battles, and led to thousands of deaths, all because of one man's ear. Talk about a grudge. War number three, the Pig War, 1859. In 1859, a war nearly broke out between the United States and Britain over a pig. On San Juan Island, an American farmer found a British-owned pig eating his potatoes. Furious, he shot the pig. The British responded aggressively, leading both sides to deploy military forces to the island. Both nations were prepared for battle, with warships arriving on the scene and tensions escalating. For months, they stood ready to fight over one pig. Thankfully, cooler heads prevailed, and the conflict was resolved without a single human casualty. But the pig, not so lucky. War number four, the Football War, 1969. Soccer can be intense, but in 1969 it led to an actual war. During a World Cup qualifier match between El Salvador and Honduras, tensions escalated between the two nations. Fans fought, riots broke out, and soon the countries themselves went to war. The underlying issues were political and economic. Land disputes and immigration issues had already created a hostile environment. The football match was simply the spark that ignited the conflict. It lasted 4 days, with thousands of casualties before a ceasefire was reached. All this over a football game. If you ever get too heated about sports, just remember, it could be worse. War number five, the Emu War, 1932. Technically, this wasn't a war between countries, but it deserves a place on this list. In 1932, Australian farmers were struggling with a massive emu invasion that destroyed crops. The government sent soldiers armed with machine guns to eliminate the birds. But the emus were too fast and too smart, dodging bullets and scattering before they could be wiped out. The birds used their natural speed and erratic movement to evade gunfire, and the troops struggled to control the situation. In the end, the enemy won. The emus survived, while the humans retreated in defeat. The Emu War remains one of history's strangest conflicts. History is often stranger than fiction. These bizarre wars prove that even the smallest events can spark major conflicts. From a runaway dog to a missing ear, and even a pig, and some emus, war has sometimes erupted for the most ridiculous reasons. And yet, behind these absurd triggers, real people suffered, and real battles were fought. Which one was the most ridiculous in your opinion? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more history that will blow your mind.